for a few people to get on here. We're going to be working on a goat today. Just so you know, if anybody wants to come on while I'm drawing, I'm going to get started here in a minute. Before we get going, I will be showing you some goat faces. Hi there, I'm waiting for a few people to get on here. I'm going to be showing a goat, how to draw a goat face today, and I have some examples from the past that I've done, and this is an Adobe Illustrator program. Sorry, it's an Adobe Fresco program. I had Adobe Illustrator for years and years, so it always comes out Illustrator. But right now I'm using Fresco. Oh, just waiting for a few people to get on here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and start anyway. I'm doing goat illustration today, a goat face, and I'm going to show you some other goat faces that I did in the past and how you can vary an illustration, and then we'll just do a demo of drawing one of these goats. So I'm going to go ahead and, before we start on the goat, I'm going to show you, I might be doing this for just one person, but that's okay. I've never come on a Saturday morning before. So let me go to my photographs. Come on, iPad. Take me to my photographs. Here we are. Okay, so a while back, I did a video of my goat drawings, and I'll just show that. It doesn't have any sound. And the reason that I did this video was to demonstrate how to do thumbnails, which are just little tiny drawings, you know, very small. These were like on my iPad, but if I did them on paper, I would have done like 2-inch drawings, and vary the style, like looking through art history, looking at, you know, famous dead artists and doing it in their style. And so the idea was to show you, if you're stuck or you don't know, you want your drawing to look different than it has before, this is just a way to do it. And it's called a T exercise. So you start with the goat right that looks, you know, fairly realistic. You get the goat down and you're like, this is how I want the eyes and the horn, and I know how the nose works and everything. And then once you have the goat face figured out, then you start to vary the style and the colors. And you just go from one to another to another. And I think I have some, yeah, this was sort of the first steps I did. Was I went to just more of an airbrushy look, a soft look, and then I went very drastic. And I think I was looking at Picasso or somebody like that. This one's kind of fuzzy, sorry about that. Just a black and white. This is just sort of a painterly style. I'm not sure what era I would put that in, but I kind of love this one. I love his little pink tongue and the flowers. This one I fashioned after Matisse. I remember that. And then this one, I've forgotten the name of the artist that I looked at. So I can't tell you that. He's passed on. I don't have a whole lot more to show you. I'm just going to go ahead and get started in how I draw when I'm using digital format, which works really good for YouTube. So let me get there. I'm going to go to my program. This is an iPad. This is an iPencil. This program that I'm about to click into is Adobe Fresco. And I just grabbed a photograph this morning by tapping on that. I went to my photos and I grabbed that goat photo that I had done before because I'm going to use that as my reference going forward. Just as a reminder, and I'm going to make it really small. Let's see here. I'm going to make it small by grabbing it and going like that because I don't really want it in the way. And I accidentally put some marks on that layer. I'll delete that layer, add a new layer. So here we are. And I'm just going to start with a pencil layer right up here. And I'm going to make it actually look like a pencil by choosing a kind of a gray. And I'm going to start sketching out this goat. Now, one of the things that's really fun about using a digital program is there's some drawing aids that you can use, and one of them that I'm going to use today is the symmetry button. I've been using it a lot lately. I just discovered it was there a while back, so you can choose different, I'll bring this up to the screen. You can choose different types of symmetry. Right now, you'll see it looks like a little butterfly I've got highlighted. That's just a very simple right-left symmetry, but you can do lots of different versions of symmetry, and you can, they look like flowers almost when you draw inside the space. I have a couple different ones that I've demonstrated on my lives in the last week. So just go and check out my lives, or just keep, actually better yet, please subscribe and I will be going over all this stuff multiple times because it's super fun. Okay, so I've got the symmetry button turned on, and so whatever I draw on one side is going to repeat on the other. And because this is a very symmetrical design that I want to do, I'm just going to go ahead and use that drawing aid. It makes it go a little bit faster when I'm doing a demo. So I'm going to get just the overall shape of the goat's face. And then, and just want to figure out like where my ears, how big they're going to be, because I'm going to have to put a point on them and change the shape a little bit. I just would like to make this as big as possible. Okay, let me do that again. And then we're going to have some horns here. Now, if this was a Seattle goat, he would not be able to have those horns. They require that the horns be removed if he lives in a city. That might be in case he gets loose. Goats can be pretty fierce. Okay. So isn't that cool how quickly I had a symmetrical outline? And so I'm going to work on the nose next. Let's see. Goats almost look like they have a little smile going on. And they have a separation in their upper lip going up to their nose. And then their nose is a sweet shape like that. There's sort of a hair, like the direction of the hair is sort of dictated sometimes on animal faces. It's like very, sometimes they'll have a whirl in the center, but I don't have a live goat to look at to see if there's a whirl, so I'm not going to put one there. But they definitely have these amazing patterns, and so I'm going to make this eye right here, coming up to the, just below the ear. And goats have beautiful eyes. And I'll just round that out a little bit there. Okay, I feel like I have a good basis for how my goat is going to look. That's a little funny down there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm just going to save this original drawing, because as I go along here, I'll make mistakes, and I will probably it could be that I have to start over, but you know, maybe not. Maybe I won't have to start over. I'm going to go ahead and keep this layer separate. This is going to be, and I'm going to lock it so that I can't accidentally erase it, because I think I've got a pretty good start here. And then what I'm going to do is do another layer. And this is part of my process when I'm using an iPad, is to get a basic sketch that I can always go back to. And now I'm actually going to trace what I've, whoops, sorry to shake this so much. My table is just a little shakier than I like. I'm going to go ahead and trace what I've done, and then I'm going to start coloring it in. And I'll try and keep the layers simple, because actually learning how to do layers in a drawing program can be a little complicated. It can be a little confusing. So I'm going to try and keep the layers simple. And I'm going to start with a wet brush up here. And let's go with, we're just going to go with a darker line. And this is going to be my basis for my painting, my digital painting. Kind of a shadow in there. And what I didn't get earlier was these ears. That dark line I did under the chin may go away, actually, but I'm going to leave it there for the moment, because the chin is, I want the chin to be actually quite white. So far I can leave the symmetry button on. Okay, so I'm going to start switching to colors now. And I'm going to go with a little bit of a gray, but I'm going to take it over to the pinky side for his nose. And then I'm going to go to a pink. I'm just using a pencil at this point. I'm keeping it very simple in this drawing because this is more about today about making a shape of a goat face look like a goat face. Sometimes when I do simple things like flowers, I demonstrate all my different kinds of brushes over here. But today I want to keep it simple and just make this look like a goat. That's the goal. I appreciate all the people who have stopped in. I have to take a minute because I don't want to forget that you're there. I get very focused on my drawing. And I want to check the comments really quick. Thank you for the thumbs up. That encourages me to come back. Thank you so much. And I am trying to grow my channel. And I would love it if you would subscribe so that I can connect with you again. If you subscribe, chances are it might pop up on your feed, and it helps me build my channel. So, hi, Cans. I'm drawing a goat face. Hi, Julie. Hi, Tenta Rose. Thank you, Emberly. Thank you for that compliment. I really appreciate it. So Tenta Rose, I'm going to read this. I've been scrolling through lives and asking people's opinions on Therians. Well, my opinion on Therians is that I have no opinion because I don't know what Therians are. Sorry. Okay, that's it for the comments. Thanks everybody for coming by, and I'm going to get back to drawing. And we're going to go back to, I've got the bright pink right now. So now you'll notice I start to develop a little palette here of colors that I've used are right up here. These are all sorts of other colors, probably drawing from that photograph of my drawing that I put up in the corner. It made a palette based on that. But we're going to just go here because this is where I started with my colors. And my colors are going to vary a little bit from that original drawing. I will look at it, and I'll go over the top of that because I don't want that pink to be too strong. Okay, we're staying on the same layer here. Excuse me. And let's go ahead and do that stripe going up the middle. We will go ahead and make that black. And the way I've done it before, it doesn't, oh, we've got the top of the nose here I didn't include. So let me include that. And then that's where the stripe starts from. And I'm just going to go back and forth, little jiggles with my pen, all the way up. Sometimes the program does its own thing. It just there for something that I did caused it to switch to the eraser. And I've started to get kind of used to that with this program. It has a mind of its own sometimes. It's human error. It's me doing something causing it to do that, but it doesn't feel like that in the moment. It feels like the program's doing something on its own. Make sure you can see what I'm drawing. Okay. And then I think we're going to go ahead and create some shadow behind in here with the ears. And we'll go ahead and make this a brown goat, but I'm going to make this goat a little more colorful than the other goat. This one's going to be a little bit more of a golden goat. And so we're just going to go here and start adding another layer right there. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Please subscribe if you enjoy watching art or being created or learning about how to do it yourself. That's my whole purpose here, is to share what I've been doing for years and how I've adapted what I've been doing to share with people on YouTube and all the different social media channels. Okay, I don't want to go too wide with that because I want to... I have a coworker who's got goats, and this, I actually used a photograph of one of his goats for this original drawing. But if you're looking for goats, what you can do, if you're not reproducing things for sale, you could just go on the, I'm going to erase this a little bit because I want to put a white line in there. You can just go on the internet and look for goat images and, you know, get a reference that way, as long as you're not reproducing it for sale. You know, it's okay just to look at what's out there to get ideas. I'm careful about not copying other people's work, but I am, like, you're welcome to go and find anything that I've done and use it as a model. You have my permission, as long as you're not reselling it. I'm here to help, and sometimes it helps to have an image to look at. Okay, I'm going to go back in with, I think I need to add a gray layer here in the very background so that I know when I'm using white. So let me do that very quickly. I am going to take my bucket. I'm going to take a very light gray. Let me find gray. And I'm going to go even lighter than that because I just barely want it to show. Okay, and I'm going to hit that, and now that's going to be a vector layer. So now I have a gray background, and so when I go in here and I grab a white pencil, I'll actually be able to see what I'm doing. So I want to put this photograph. Can you see what I'm doing? Let me move my screen over here. So my original photograph is on the very bottom layer, and I just covered it up with this layer right here. So all I have to do with this program is grab it, just press on it, move it up, and pop, there it appears again. So I can see it. It's now on top of the gray layer. That's the basics of how layers work. Is you just have to get them in the right order in order to see them. And then you have to know which layer you're drawing on. So this is my drawing layer right here. This is how far I have gotten on my drawing. So I'll go back there. It is a wet layer. It's a pixel brush layer is what I should say to be accurate. Okay, we're going to add some white now. Right along here. Am I seeing it? Huh. I think what it's doing, I didn't grab the white. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Hopefully you can see it too. Let me see, I'm looking on my... It's fairly faint what I'm doing, so, but it has to be done. I could darken up that background, maybe so you could see it better. Let me just look and see. Can you see that? I guess you can see that. And we're going to go and do some nice white on the nose here. Again, I'm using, if you've joined late, I'm using the symmetry button because this is a very, very balanced, symmetrical drawing. And it actually speeds it up, and it's just a drawing aid in this Fresco program. It speeds it up a little bit, and it allows me to get through this drawing a little bit faster, but it also makes it perfectly even side to side, which is pretty fun. Okay, we're gonna go down here and add some white. There's a lot of white on the little nose and mouth of this fella. I guess it's a boy. A they, he's a they. And this is where I'm just going to leave a really faint line so that I know exactly where that chin is. Whoopsie. Okay. And there's some white underneath the eyes. I think this actually goes out all the way to the edge. Okay, and now we're going to switch back to, so I'm going to go, I've got my brush, still same brush. I'm going to go to my palette and grab that nice golden brown. Okay, so I'm going to, just generally draw in the direction that I think the hair lays. I think it lays down this way. And in a minute, as soon as I finish this part, I'm going to check the comments just to make sure in case someone's got a question. Oh, a chinchilla. Thanks for that idea. I will keep that in mind. Someone's asking if I can do a chinchilla. Oh, someone was actually born with goats. I believe that. There's a lot of little mini farms with goats and big farms with goats. At some point, I'll do a chinchilla, Amberley. I will keep that in mind because I am always looking for new ideas of what to draw. Thanks everybody who's joining me. I am really trying to grow my channel and stay connected with people, and the only way, I'm pretty new to YouTube, just this, and really new to really new to lives, and the only way that I know to stay connected with people is to have you subscribe to me so that when I come on here, live, we can have little chats and you can follow what I'm doing and kind of keep track of what's going on in my world of art. So subscriptions are very much appreciated. And I'm going to go back to drawing. Okay, let's look at that reference photo again. So notice in order to have the face and the body stand out from each other, in this one, there's quite a contrast between, I made a contrast between face and body, and I did it in different ways. So here I put black at the shoulder, which is different than what's at the face, which is the brown. And then at the chin, I went very, very white on top of the brown that I put as the base of the neck. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I go forward. And actually, this goat's, I might change how this goat's neck is. It's quite narrow, and I think the goat neck comes actually wider than that. So I'm just going to go back here and use my eraser. Doesn't matter about the original sketch. In fact, I think I can turn that original sketch off that I locked. Okay, so it's still there, it's locked, but I'm going to make it invisible by clicking on the eyeball. It went away. And now I have a little bit of freedom to go back to drawing. And I will choose that black and basically bring that neck, whoops, what's going on here? I have to get on the right layer. Up here, up on my drawing layer. And we're going to just bring that neck this way. There. That feels a little bit better. Switching between my paintbrush and my eraser. Okay, so this is where sometimes it's helpful to have another layer. I'm going to just stick with this. This is how you would draw if you were on paper. So you can, I'm going to continue. There's a more complicated way to do this where I do layer upon layer upon layer. But I'm going to stick with this way because in case anybody's trying to do this on paper, it's going to be very similar to how you would do it on paper. So I'm just going to be very careful when I get up to the edge here. And I think that's probably almost enough black there. And then I'm just going to take that out here. And I can actually turn my pencil a little sideways, just like if you were using a regular pencil, and it gets a bit bigger and wider. And then let's go back over and choose the brown color. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to go up here. Actually, what I'll do, keep this centered. And I'm just going to go like that. Bring my drawing up here where you can see. And then I go on the side with my Apple pencil. And of course, this you can't do the symmetry with on paper, but this is more just to help this drawing go a little bit faster. And it's kind of neat. It does this sort of symmetrical pattern that's pretty neat. And for the sake of folks out there watching, I'll just go ahead and make this a little bit bigger so we can get through this coloring in. If you're using, if you're like use crayons or Conti crayons or regular granola crayons, what word am I looking for? The name of crayons. Anyway, it's not coming to me. Crayola crayons or Conti crayons or pastels, just turning it on its side, you can get a whole different feel and look for your color, or laying down your color. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. And I may go back later, and I might do that now actually, and add a little bit, sorry for wiggling the camera, that was me, my bumping it. I think I would have to go on top of this with another kind of a paintbrush to get that to work a little bit better. Going back here to the size. There we go. Let's sharpen that pencil up a little bit. It's still showing here and there. See how I'm getting a little bit of texture in there? Okay. And what's not working with this, but I'm going to go ahead and add, I'm going to add a layer here and do that drawing on the layer on top so that it'll show up a little bit better, and maybe change my color slightly. Trying to emulate what you would get if you were actually using, so you could go with a yellow or something lighter on the top just to make the hair show up a little bit better. Going very rapidly with this hair mark because I've got a lot of goat to cover. Oh, that looks better. And then I'm going to go up here and actually add some of that lighter color here too. Okay, so we need to go work on those ears next. Thanks everybody for watching. I see I've got quite a few people in here. Thank you so much. Let me take a moment and check the comments in case there's some questions. Hi, Laken. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Trying to grow my channel. And that really helps me. Okay, so I think next is going to be the ears. And the thing about animals with ears like this, there's a lot of animals with ears like this. Think about goats, horses, cows, you know, those are farm animals, but deer, with animals that have big ears like this, they really have a way, they can actually direct their ears in you know, they can make them go more forward, more backward, side, you know, they can flop down to the side. Ears tell you so much about what an animal is thinking in their mind, and if they're relaxed or if they're alert. You can tell what they're paying attention to by where they point their ears. So this fella is quite alert and his ears are popped up pretty high. This fella, I'm not going to change his ears because it certainly is possible that this goat could drop his ears down a little bit and have them like this, a little more relaxed. So we're going to go ahead with these different ears. And then I do want to reference color though. So there's a mix of white and brown happening on this ear. We'll go with the brown first. And I'm going to go right up here. A little brown on the inside of the ear. And then we're going to go back in with some white. The inside of often when you look on the inside of animals' ears, sometimes they're super smooth. Other times they're very furry inside. And I don't have the real goat here to compare, to judge, you know, exactly what's going on. So I'm going to make his ears pretty furry. On the inside. And pretty light. And then this is the top of the ear that's flopped down here. Just doing a little white edge on it. And this might be the back of the ear. It's got a little white stripe on it. Blend that in. Now I think I'll come back with a dark gray. And a black. The black's going to be very, very narrow. Here the black is really kind of a shadow. And just some definition. Okay, I like that. That ear looks good. Let's put some black horns on this fella. I'm actually working on 2 layers now. I'm going to merge that down so we're all on just one. So it's like a piece of paper. Now, if the sun was out, there'd be a bright spot in the sky. And sometimes I like to create a little bit of reflection of that light. Or it could be he's indoors and there's a bright light on the ceiling. So there's a little light shining on him right there, on his top of his head. Okay, top of his ears. Let's go back down here and work on those eyes. Okay, eyes make me nervous. I know, like I've been doing this for years, and eyes still make me a little nervous because I want the eyes are the window to the soul, and I want them to be so like right there. Go back and choose my white. Clean that up. Oops, come here, white. Want a nice definite eyelid. Go back and grab my black. Now I'm going to make, I have no idea if goats actually have blue eyes, but I'm going to go ahead and make his eyes blue and black because it's fun to make them whatever color I want. So let's add these nice blue eyes here. Actually, I might change my mind. Am I going to change my mind? No, I'm not going to change my mind. I'm going to stick with it. Blue eyes. I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter blue in here and just do some lines like this. And I am going to add some black for the pupils. Let's put a little definition on those eyes. Let's bring that eyelash down low. Here's another eyelash. And we've got an eyelash on the bottom. Now, because I think I'm going to have a green and blue background and some flowers, just in case the blue ends up behind his eye, I don't want it to go into the background. So I'm going to add a white line right here so that I have definition between a possible background that I don't know exactly what my background's going to look like yet. Okay, and then again, that sunshine is going to show up in the eyes. And in this case, I'm going to turn off my symmetry button because I don't want where's my symmetry? I don't want the sunshine to show exactly the same on both eyes. The sun is over here in the east, so it reflects on the eye right there. It didn't happen over here. So on this one, I don't want to go all the way over. I want it to go on this side of the eye. That's why I turned off my symmetry button. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Turn my symmetry back on. Okay, I think that I'm going to come back in here and work on this and get a little creative here maybe. I think I'll turn off my photograph so we're not comparing anymore. Let's hide him. I'll touch the eyeball and hide that photograph. Thanks everybody for hanging with me on this goat face this morning. And the next thing I'm going to do is give him a little bit of a white chest and kind of show where his front legs might be. So I think I can do that with a white. So I would think his legs are going to be out there somewhere. So we'll just give him a white chest here. It's for a little variation. And then by choosing that darker brown, I'm actually creating a little bit of a shadow here. Okay, that feels a little bit better. It feels like he's got a body happening. And then the other thing I'm going to do to push his belly back under him is I'm going to go choose that gray and just create a shadow down here. Okay. All right, so now we can start thinking about the chin to finish this off. Go in close on the chin, and I'm going to grab the white, and I'm going to give him basically a pretty furry little chin here. And then I'm going to have, so animals have a lot of whiskers around their mouths, and it helps them when they're constantly grazing, they're constantly eating. They take breaks, I do know that, but they eat a lot because they get all of their nourishment from foraging. And so their nose is always going everywhere, and those whiskers help them feel what's happening around their nose. And they're very useful. And I know in some instances, I've seen with horses especially, where people trim their whiskers, and I just feel like they need their whiskers. So for the most part, I think it's good to leave whiskers on animals. So I'm going to add some whiskers, and I want to make sure I'm completely done before I add the whiskers, because coming back and drawing around the whiskers is going to be hard, and I think I'm going to clean up a couple things here. So let me go to my brown. This feels like it should go like that. Then go back to the black. I think I want to make this a little bit darker. Okay, so I want to make sure these whiskers show up, and so on my digital format I do it on a different layer because sometimes interesting things happen with digital. So, all right, here we go. Whisker number 1, whisker number 2, whisker number 3, and then we're going to put whiskers off from his chin. Now we got a very whiskery goat. Love it. I feel like I want to go back and darken up this center. So let's go there. We'll merge that. I'll leave those whiskers on their own layer. Sorry for mumbling. It's almost like colored pencil, the way with colored pencil you kind of build it up, and I'm kind of doing similar here. Okay, so something that there's still some gray showing through right here in the eyes, and I think what I'm going to do is choose that same color that I used for the nose, which was this very light grayish pink, and I'm going to fill in the eyes that way. Because the next thing I'm going to do is very much a digital thing, not necessarily what you can do with a piece of paper. And that is to go back to this layer here, and I am going to fill it using a bucket. Let me see if you can see. You can see I'm using a bucket. And I am going to go with a light blue color. More of a blue here. I want a really light blue. There we go. Okay, so now I changed the background to a blue for a blue sky. And now I think I'm going to turn off my symmetry button and start working on, so I'm going to go right above this background layer. I'm going to add another layer. Let's put all these together here. That's my original sketch. I'll put that way down here. I'm just doing a little bit of arranging of my layers over here. So I have a blank layer here because I'm going to draw some background, and I'm sticking with the same brush. I am going to go to green because we're going to do some green grass coming up here. And I'm going to make that a nice big fat pencil. Show you what I'm doing. And then I'll go with a darker green in front of that. Okay, and now I'm going to turn off my symmetry button. I actually meant to do that earlier, because we're going to add some flowers. I'm going to make them pink, and they're going to be very basic flowers. We'll do one right up here. Oops, it's a little fat. I am going to make these five petal flowers. Go back to my dark green and put some little green petals right in between, little green leaves. I'm going to choose a nice bright yellow for the center of the flower for the bees to find. And then I'm going to go back and grab that dark green because we need a stem going down. We'll just have it blend into the grass down here. Okay, he's got a little flower next to him. And we're going to do another one just like that one. I'm going to put it a little bit lower. I'll go back to my palette where I've got my pink. Bumped you again, making sure you can check the comments in a minute. As soon as I finish this pink, I'll stand up and check the comments. So if you have a question, pop it in there now. I'm using Adobe Fresco. I'm using an iPad. You can also use a Wacom tablet that attaches to a computer. Or you can do this on paper and pencil with crayons and pastels. Okay, I'm going to finish the pink here, and then I'm going to check the questions in case there's anybody wondering anything. Thank you for subscribing, Lakin. Oh, 26 people. Awesome. My dogs go cray-cray when my brother makes a weird noise. Brother Cameron is offering me lots of reading material. Hello again, Sin. I'm glad you're back. Thank you for joining again. All right, super. Go back to the drawing. And just to show you the overall, if you're following along on your own drawing, that's awesome. Would love to hear if you're doing that or if you're planning on going and making a drawing. So the next thing I'm going to do is finish that flower. And then I'm going to play around with this sky a little bit. Trying to decide if I should put a sun behind him or make it a night sky with a moon. I tend to do night skies a lot with moons because I love drawing stars. Oh. Okay. Back to the flower. We'll go and put that nice bright yellow center. And the little green petals, leaves. And then this stem is just going to be really blending in with the grass right there. Very short. So there we go. Okay. I kind of like that I made the goat perfectly symmetrical But then when it came to the flowers, I did not. They're just a little bit off. It makes it interesting. Sometimes it's a very small thing that you do to a drawing to make it interesting. All right, so now I am going to play around with putting a big sun behind his head. So I'm going to go right on top of my blue layer, but behind the grass I can add another layer in between those two. And I can add a sun back there. And again, I'm going to use a drawing aid. What you can do at home when you want to have a nice clean circle is you can get a cup or a lid to, a lid to anything from your cupboard, from a can lid, a bottle lid, depends on how big you want your circle, and just use that as a way to make a perfect circle. And it's not that it has to be perfect, you can freehand your circle too, but because this drawing is so symmetrical, I think it'll be nice if I make kind of a perfect circle. And so I have a circle tool on here somewhere down here in the corner. That's a ruler. I don't want the ruler, I want the circle. Okay, do I want the sun there? Do I want the sun behind him? Like it's coming up in the sky? I have to think about this. Thanks for bearing with me while I think, because I didn't plan this one at all. I think that might look a little funny there, unless I made it smaller. And I could do that. And I could have the rays coming out behind him. That might be what I'll do. I am also going to turn on my symmetry button so I know where the center of the drawing is. There we go. Make this a nice yellow outline. So here we go, I'm just drawing around that circle, and then I'm going to turn it off. And it's all going to be freehand after this. And again, I'm going to turn off my symmetry button because I don't actually want all of this exactly the same on both sides. I just wanted the sun in the center. So the first thing I'm going to do is color in the sun. Just going to use big circular motions. Hopefully you can, my hand isn't covering up what I'm doing. Oh, I'll have to use the eraser there. Or I could just let it be. I could let it be imperfect. In fact, I think I'll do that. Maybe I'll make that a little imperfect around it, because the sun, sometimes the best way to show sunshine is through big sweeping arcs. Okay, before I do that though, I just want to get rid of as much blue as I can. And then I'm going to go to an orange and add in just some light color. I'm going to come back with the yellow, but first I'm going to get around the outside here with the orange. I'm going to come back with my yellow, choose my yellow there. This is a little bit orangey yellow. Let me go back to that bright yellow. So now I'm just doing this super light and I'm on a layer behind my goat. If I wasn't, I'd have to like stop and be super careful right there. But I am using the advantages of digital here. Digital layering. Okay. I think that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to show you a fun thing that that Adobe Fresco does, and that is Adobe Fresco recorded every single stroke that every single mark that I made on here. Adobe Fresco recorded that, which I love, and I can show that to you by doing a publish and export and time-lapse export. Let's do a preview first. I don't know if it'll do a preview. Okay, it's not doing a preview, so let's just hit export and I'll go to my save video. I'll go to my videos and show it to you. So I'm done. And go to my videos. It should be. It should be right here, but it's not. Let me go back. Albums. It might be under my videos. Sorry. This usually is easier to find. Recents. There we go. Here we go. So it went all the way back to the very beginning. It's very fast when it plays it back for me. But you can see all the parts are recorded. And so what I do when I draw these little drawings is I upload that video to an editing program and I edit it and turn it into a little art video with music, and I zoom in and I make things spin, and I use transitions in my art editing program, and I make bursts of light, and I do all sorts of crazy things with it to make it into an art video, and I make them very short. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, you can look into my so you can click into my live streams to see these kind of demos. You can click into my shorts, and that's where all my art videos are. And you can see how I've taken this recording of a drawing and I turn it into an art video. And so you can go in there and see how those come out. And eventually I will have a little program of how to create that and what the steps are. Right now I'm just sort of telling people in my live video how I do it, and people are kind of left to figure it out on their own, which is most people do figure it out. But anyway, if you subscribe or send me a message, I can help you with that. And just to review, when I started this, it was all because a while back I did an exercise, a tea exercise, where I drew the first goat face like that, and then I looked at all different styles in art history and said, well, how else could I draw the goat face? And these are little tiny 2-inch drawings. If you're doing it on paper, just little drawings called thumbnails. And I just did the goat in lots and lots of different ways. I like that one in particular with the little heart on his forehead. Isn't that cute? Here's kind of a very crazy one. What do we got down here? Pretty simple, just with different colored backgrounds. That is the advantage. I mean, I've done this on paper for years, and then having the iPad, it's even, you know, it's a whole nother way of doing it where you can change the background to a lot of different colors. Okay, so that is that. And I think we're just going to go ahead and end this with one other thing that I can show you. If you decide that you want to work with Adobe Fresco, I showed you such basic things today. It is a very powerful little program, and it can do a lot of things. And I'm just going to show you really quickly. If I were to, let's see, this is all, I'm going to put the goat and the grass. I'm going to merge it down, merge down the sun. And I'm just going to show you what happens if you use some filters. So this drawing is pretty much, I don't have the blue background on a filter because I thought it might be fun to see what happens if we change the background color. So maybe we'll do that first and then we'll try the filters. So I'm going to go here to my bucket, make sure you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to change my background. Let's change it to Red Sky at Night, Sailor's Delight. And see what happens. Wow, that's a whole different look, isn't it? Let's go to a night sky and see what happens. Let's pretend that's a moon, not a sun. That's interesting too. But see what happens here. It really, I need a white line around the back of the neck on the goat to distinguish it from the night sky. So I'm going to go back to my blue background. I might make it a little brighter just for fun. Whoops, that didn't work. Let me go back this way. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is show you how the filters work. And so right now the filter is set on normal. And let's see if you can, oops, I can't really make that bigger for you, but I could bring it up. So I'm over here on the side and I just press this little button right here and out pops, let me move that circle, I don't know what that is, different choices. And the blend mode right now is on normal, and if I tap on that, I'm going to have all these pop up. So now I'm going to put it back down and I'm just going to go through them and we'll see what happens to the picture as I click on different ones, and it's going to change. So we'll hit darken. Let me move this. let me move this over here just a little bit. Okay, and do that again. So that was darken, multiply, color burn, completely changes it. Linear burn, oh, I kind of like that. Darker color, that's really kind of wacky. Lighten, wow, wow. Screen, color dodge, linear dodge, lighter color. This doesn't really work for a lot of these. Overlay, soft light, hard light. Hard light works. Vivid light. Oh, I love it. A pink goat. Linear light, a yellow goat. Pin light. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Green. Hard mix. Wow. Difference. Whoa. Holy moly, that's pretty amazing. It might be fun to add, if I were to just go in there and add a line right there. On this one, this would be quite a crazy, you know, to define his neck so it doesn't look blank right there. That was called difference. I just have to remember that. Exclusion, same, it's pretty crazy looking. Subtract, divide, hue. These are the names of all of the saturation, color, luminosity. Okay, I'm going to go back to normal. I want to try that. So let me go here and grab, I'm just going to grab the pencil and I am going to grab I'll grab the opposite. I'll just grab a white. And so I'm going to go right here. Oops. The white didn't show through. Make it a little bit smaller. I'm just going to go right up here. This is where I lost definition and when I did those overlays, those filters. So I'm just going to add a little white line there because I think that's all I'm going to need to create definition. And I want to try that filter again. So that one was down here. I think it was difference. There it is. Oh, okay. So I didn't have my symmetry button on, so it only did it on one side. But you can see that now works because I just added that white line in there. It's turning it this red color because it's turning all the white things sort of a red-orange. But that's how you could keep your original drawing looking pretty normal, but add some. So another thing I do is probably go in and do a little bit of a white outline on the horns. So might as well, I'm just going to finish that idea before I end today. Let me go and I wonder if I can do this with this. I think I will actually. I might be sorry doing it this way. Okay, that works. But there's probably going to be a problem when I turn this layer off and I go back to normal. Those, I should have probably gone to this drawing to do those outlines because they're not placed very well on this drawing. So I might do that different. Go back, 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 back. Okay, turn this off, go back to normal. I mean, this is the process when you use digital, is like you have to start to understand what all the buttons do. It can be very complicated. Oopsie. And we're going to go on this layer, the drawing layer. Going to pencil, I'm going to add a white line around the horn on both sides. Notice how I don't sketch very much. I sketch when I'm doing hair like this. But when I lay a line down, I lay a line down. I was taught that in college. Just put that line down. Okay, this was the other side I needed to. Here we'll make it look a bit like hair. All the way down. Okay, now it'll be a little bit easier to see those areas when we use a filter difference. There we go. Isn't that crazy? Wow. So what you do here is I'm going to just go like that. And then I am going to ask it to publish and export. I'm just going to do a quick export of a photograph, save image, done. Okay, and then I'm going to turn that off and go back to my normal layer. And I'm also going to do a quick export of that. It's just save image. And so now when I go to my gallery of photographs, I've got both images saved in case I want to use them in a video. Okay. All right, well, thanks everybody. I really appreciated you stopping by this morning. There's a lot of people on here. Before I leave, I would just ask that you would like the video. It helps the algorithms to go out to more people when I get a lot of likes. I would also ask you to subscribe to my channel. I am really trying to grow my channel so that I can do these lives more often and reach more people. I would love for everybody to be able to build their drawing skills no matter what age they are, from 0 to 100. Anybody can improve their drawing skills. Anybody can start at any time, pick up wherever they left off the last time they learned how to draw, and just continue with their building their drawing skills. And I really like being able to do this on an iPad, because if somebody doesn't have access to a studio, or they don't have the space, or there's too many people in your house or something to lay the artwork out, you know, and you want to, let's say you want to work on your artwork every single day and it takes over the table. Well, if you have a drawing pad that hooks up to a computer, or you have an iPad, you can just sit anywhere and do this. If you have a phone that has a stylus, the screen is a lot smaller, but that's how I used to work. When I first started with digital, I had a phone that had a little pencil on it, and you can download the drawing programs to your phone and just draw on your phone. The pencil for any computer or tablet or phone is called a stylus. So that concludes it for today. I hate to leave when there's still people here. I really appreciate you all stopping by, and I just want to thank you so much, and have an absolutely wonderful Saturday, everybody. Bye-bye.